All right, good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting of October 18th. First order of business is the approval of the minutes from September 20th. Do I see a motion for that?
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Harmon, second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, thank you. Is there anybody here for the privilege of the floor? No. Okay. Friendly face. Moving on then, our first proposed resolution to confirm appointment, County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency Board of Directors. Sir, could you
Thank you,
introduce
Mr. Maldani. Nate Aldrich, Economic Development Coordinator. Mark Geis apologizes. He had another commitment this evening. So this resolution is to appoint Amy Harding to a vacancy on the CCIDA Board of Directors, left by the resignation of Jay Churchill, who resigned a few months back. Amy came highly recommended from another board member. She represents an area of the county that's underrepresented currently on the CCID board and has a strong background in banking, having worked for Lakeshore. Within the last few weeks, Mark, along with Rich Dixon and board chairman Gary Henry, met with Amy, and we're all in agreement that she'd be a great addition to the IDA board.
Good, great. I used to work with Amy. I agree fully. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Ayes have it, thank you. Second proposed resolution to confirm the appointment to the Chautauqua County Planning Board.
Yes, so this board seat we're recommending to be filled by Bethany O'Hagan, who currently works for the Chautauqua Watershed Conservancy, filling a term left vacant by John Fry, and this is the only current vacancy, and once appointed will be full slate of board members.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
this resolution does need to be amended. John Frey's term would have expired 12/31/24, and this term expires 10/25/26.
Okay, can we treat that as a typo?
I believe.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Sure.
Is there any questions, any discussion on the motion?
Nate, what are the responsibilities of this position?
So the planning board is involved in a number of things, including their annual responsibility is to review the capital projects that are presented to the county executive and legislature. They also review certain local planning actions under General Municipal Law 239, which is certain actions including area variances, use variances, site plan approvals, local laws, within 500 feet from a county facility, county road, state facility, state road. So that's their main responsibility. In addition, they're involved in providing feedback in various department planning reports and things we develop.
And I don't know her, but so her experience would fit that requirement?
I was asked by Lauren Sharp, who's currently filling in for Courtney Domst, our liaison to the planning board, to speak to the resolution. I don't personally know Bethany, but I believe she comes highly recommended, and her experience with CWC would be a good fit.
Okay. Anybody else? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Let's have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aldrich. Now we have 3 emergency resolutions that we have to go through. Mr. McCoy? Beginning with the public hearing.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dave McCoy. I work for the Office of Planning and Development, and I'm the County Watershed Coordinator.
So the title of this is Fixing the Date and Notice for the Public Hearing for Community Development Block Grant Applications. Is that the one you're on?
Not so much
Okay.
on my agenda.
Where's the budget for the near shore cleanup equipment?
This is budget for a
Okay.
near shore
Yep.
cleanup.
Okay, let me read that again then. Amend the 2023 budget for the near shore cleanup equipment improvements using funding from the 2% occupancy tax program reserve. So can you tell us a little bit about it?
Be glad to. Several years ago, we purchased a conveyor and an additional Mobi-Track to augment the county's fleet of equipment on the lake. And it's been paying some real dividends to do so. It was a little problematic this year with the conveyor because it was delivered late, didn't have all the parts it needed. But eventually we got that together. And two things that were not included in the original specification. When we ordered the conveyor, this equipment, like other equipment on the lake, has a coupling device where a cutter or a transport will come to the shore with its load and lock on to a conveyor, which works nice because things will wiggle around in the wind and the waves and whatnot. The old Chautauqua Lake standard consisted of two vertical bars, and you'd come in and there'd be a spring-loaded catch and they would lock on. The newer stuff is more widely used standard across the country. It's a vertical bar like this, basically comes in and it locks up. So you can have both, but we only have one. So it would work well with the new equipment, the skimmers, because we got it from the same vendor. They knew what we needed. Although it didn't work with the older stuff. So this is to buy that coupling device for the conveyor to use with the older equipment. And also, the new equipment is much wider. Instead of a 6-foot conveyor, there's an 11-foot wide conveyor. Well, which could be problematic when you're trying to dump it. So what we've asked for is essentially a funnel, if you will, with 2/4-inch aluminum, structural aluminum plates, about 4 foot by 6 foot. They bolt on each side of the conveyor, so that makes offloading better. You don't have to have something with a pitchfork doing stuff up on it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
We have a lease for operation and maintenance to the town of Chautauqua. The town of Chautauqua's been a great partner. They've gone to the mat for the county a number of times on things. But these two things really aren't maintenance. Stuff that should have probably been on the equipment in the first place. If we didn't know more than what we do now, we would have simply bought them. But it is what it is. I don't want to stick them with these costs. I don't think it's fair. So we have no money to just buy them and get them to the town of Chicago.
Anybody have any discussions, any questions for Mr. McCoy on this? Okay, so basically all I need to do is, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
For our next resolution is the public hearing. Is that it? Someone else? What's this? Mike? Oh, yeah, the Merritt Winery one, sorry. I'm all mixed up. Just hold it. Okay, can you introduce yourself?
James Feldman from the County Executive's Office.
Okay. The title of this proposed resolution is to authorize use of the Chautauqua County 3% occupancy tax reserve funding for Merritt Winery's America's Grape Country Craft Beverage Festival.
Yes, so now this event is something that the county has funded in the past as well. And we are looking to use $5,000 from the occupancy tax reserve, which we currently have $773,854 in, to help fund the event. It's held annually at the Chautauqua County Fairgrounds. This year it featured 18 wineries, several of them local Chautauqua County wineries, 16 breweries, meaderies, cideries, and distilleries, 16 food vendors, including some local food trucks, and 17 local crafters and artisans. They also had a lot of live music, a classic car show, and on-site camping. It's a really great event that we've funded in the past because it brings a lot of people to the county and really highlights our craft beverage industry here in the county and the rest of Western New York.
It's usually in September, is it?
August.
August, okay.
Yep.
And do you ever see it getting bigger, more than a one-day event?
So I believe it is. I think it's 2 days now. I believe it's the weekend. So this, yeah, Saturday. I believe it's Saturday and Sunday.
Did
I know.
it start out as a one-day?
It might have. So it's been going on. The first year they had it was in 2008, and I know it's grown quite significantly since then. Had a hiatus during COVID. So last year was kind of I believe its first year back post-COVID. But this year it looked like it had some really good attendance. Actually, I was at a similar event this past weekend up in Lancaster, and some of the vendors there were also vendors at the Merritt Winery event, and they were just raving about how great it was and how many people were there. So
Do you usually go to contribute to something that's already happened?
yes, so last year we did, I believe the same thing last year. It was post the event. This is something that we had talked about assisting them with earlier, and there was just some questions about how we would get the funding to them. There was a couple different avenues, and it was determined that going with the occupancy tax reserve would be the best for this year's. And then going forward, I believe they're looking to work it in as a item line for the occupancy tax program.
And this payment goes to the Fair Association or to Merit?
It goes to Merit, so this is a separate event that's just hosted at the fairgrounds.
Mr. Chairman, isn't there something that says that an event like that can only ask for the occupancy money 3 times? Or am I confused? Isn't there an amount they can only ask for 3 times for an event?
I think you're correct.
Yeah.
And this would be the 2nd time? Okay.
Well, James
I'm not
had
sure.
indicated that we had funded this for many years.
I believe it's been, last year was not the first year, I believe. No, I do believe other events, though, have been funded more than just the 3 times. I think the Lucy Comedy Fest is one that has fallen into that category.
It did fall into it,
Yeah.
and when we discovered it, we said
Mhm.
that will never happen again.
Okay.
I think we need more information on
Oh,
this.
so I'm the bad guy?
No,
Oh, my God.
No, no.
Question, Mr. Will.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We're 100% behind that festival, though. Just want you to know.
Okay, so we just lay it aside, basically?
I think we want to table this to get more information.
Do I have a motion to table?
Mr. Chairman, but we are,
Yeah, of course.
we are committed.
I'm sorry?
I mean, we're committed to this event.
We're committed, but
We
we're not
believe in
sure
this,
that
but-
it's gonna
okay.
qualify under the current funding, and that's why we need to
Communities and
Come up.
support it.
Yes.
come up with some more information before we pass it. I would think we'd want to do that.
Do you have that?
I do not,
How many years right now?
I do not have that on me right now, no. I could get that for,
But I don't think it does any harm by putting it off a month, really, the festivals.
It's all right.
Yeah.
And it's through reimbursement at this point.
yes.
That's what it sounds like.
Do we have a motion to table?
Context.
Sure. Touch the mic.
So again, Nate Aldrich, Economic Development Coordinator. As Pierre knows, we have had this discussion about funding the same project no more than 3 years through the competitive cycle grant program through the 3% program. I don't believe the county has always been consistent and the way it treats new projects. We've been trying to be more consistent for the last several years. Although I did want to point out, there are other events such as the Grand Fondo around Chautauqua Lake, which is a line item built in the 3% budget, which is funded for obviously more than 3 years now. So it's certainly a discussion our department would be willing to have with the legislature to understand if that is an unwritten rule that we should try to follow, or if there's, you know, other guidance in place and how we can treat this consistently over time.
I think my recommendation is, is that we delay it, or whatever the term is, for another month to have more discussion. We can always come back.
And I did want to point out, I believe it has been communicated to Mr. Merritt that, you know, we have to try to treat everybody the same, and, you know, we can't have requests after the fact. Not that that necessarily happened. I agree with James. We didn't necessarily have a clear path forward in how we would want to fund it, but, yep.
So you get back to us.
We will try to look into the history of the awards and how much they've gotten. And then also, if we could clarify with the legislature and Todd about the 3-year rule, we can do that in the next month.
Okay. Good. So do I have a motion to table?
So moved.
Mr. Penn-Harlow,
I'll second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, James.
Public hearing, is that you?
Yes.
Do you have a helper?
Yes.
Come on down. Hello,
Hi,
can you introduce yourself?
absolutely. I'm Stephanie Nick, Special Projects Coordinator with the County Planning and Economic Development.
Great, nice to have you here.
Thank you.
So the resolution that we're talking about is fixing date and notice for public hearing for the Community Development Block Grant application. Can people fill us in a little bit? Or?
So I'd be happy to give a very brief explanation and hand it over to Stephanie if she has any color commentary. Stephanie will be taking this program over in the department, but you know, this is a program that you've seen before, and you've seen many resolutions that are required by the state. This one is a required public hearing, which would be, again, hopefully approved in October, held in November, and then most likely would also come back in November for authorizing resolution to submit the grant. Again, this is the Micro Enterprise Assistance Program funded through state CDBG dollars and provides forgivable loan funding to small businesses and startups in the non-entitlement communities of the county for working capital, fixtures, furniture, equipment, renovation costs to expand their business and grow the number of full-time equivalent positions offered to low to mod income people. Anything else you wanted to add to that? Covers it?
I mean, that covers it. There were 8 businesses this year, or over the last 2 years, that were funded. 4 of them were brand new startups, so it's 4 brand new businesses that this grant helped to bring in.
And the county is the applicant and the pass-through of funds, and our partners at COI and Cody implement the program.
Great.
So it's a great partnership.
It's a great partnership. I'm on that board, and they've just upped it to $75,000 too, haven't they? There's loan applications.
I believe that's a separate Cody loan program.
Okay.
This, I believe, maxes out at 35,000.
35.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, could you just give a little more detail? The 8 businesses, 4 were new, manufacturing, retail, tourism, just the locations within the county. I don't need no names.
Yeah,
just a little more
it was a good
background,
mix
please.
of things. Definitely a lot of retail. I don't know exactly what each one was. I don't have it written in front of me, but it was spread across the county. Just not, as Nate said, not in any of the entitlement cities, which is Jamestown and Dunkirk. So they're bringing businesses to the smaller places in the county that could use that could use more jobs, and it requires that there's at least one full-time job that is included with the startup of the new business.
And you did, Nate, you mentioned has the possibility of being forgiven?
So it's a forgivable loan program, so it's structured, as a loan, and then as long as they meet the requirements, it's forgiven.
And just a ballpark, the total figure?
So of the $200,000 grant that we plan to submit, and again, we'll come with more details with the authorizing resolution. This is, again, just the public hearing. I believe there's $30,000 in administrative costs for a grant administrator, as well as program service delivery from Cody. The county, we don't take a cut on that, and $170 is remaining for the actual forgivable loans.
Thank you.
Yeah. Again, it's a very small tool in the toolbox in the grand scheme of things. It's not a lot of money we're talking about, but it's one more tool in the toolbox. So.
Any questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much, both of you.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you very much, everybody.
I'm 100% behind it, but didn't this happen to us for the